Hello, I'm Millicent Harwell. Welcome to Homefront. Do you want to have all things that pertain to life and godliness? Do you want to own a home? Do you want to be financially secure? Do you want to find your way out of financial struggles? Do you want to learn more about purchasing a home? Appraisals, investors, builders, developers, architects. We have all that in store and much more in our program, so stay with us. We're with Donnie Rominger, who is a certified inspector. And Donnie is going to take us through a home and help us understand what to expect while we're getting a home inspection. Thanks for being with us today, Donnie.
You're welcome. It's very welcome. I'm Donnie Rominger. I've been doing home inspections now for about 7 years. This is around 750 home inspections I've done in this area. We're going to start on the outside. That's my normal thing. We'll walk around and just point out a few items that are normal, regular things that we find every day in home inspections.
How many home inspections have you done throughout your inspecting career?
Approximately 750 home inspections.
Wow, that's a lot. So you've probably seen a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And what we're going to focus on today are the common issues that you may find while doing an inspection.
Okay, that's exactly what I'd planned on doing. We'll go around and look at a few things. And a lot of things that we find in a home inspection, is one thing I'd like to say, is things that were never done right from the day one. And that's what we want to do. We're going to show you a couple things that were never done right, and plus some things that have just happened over normal wear and tear. And another thing that I'm real big on in home inspection is safety items. Anything that's a safety item that causes a hazard to the person living there, we definitely are very big on that. We don't want anybody to get hurt or shocked or electrocuted after we've done an inspection. I don't want to read about them in the paper. That's what I always say.
And we want to encourage Christians to make right decisions, and we want them to live long, blessed lives like the Lord says, right?
Correct. Very well. Okay, Millicent, this is a normal thing that I find in a lot of houses, probably about 70%, where the gutter was installed properly. You can see where the leaves are piled up there. And what happens here, should have been a downspout installed there. And what's happening is the water's just running out there and it's going up underneath the shingles, and that's causing a problem. It'll cause a rotted problem, and 4 or 5 years down the road, we'll have a rotted roof decking problem in this area. This is very common in this area.
So the gutter was installed improperly?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, Millicent, this is a typical rotted area we find from water runoff from the house. We see some soft rotted wood down here. You can hear it. And a lot of times we have a bug problem also that goes along with this. You can hear the soft versus the solid. It's starting to get soft at both sides. It's both sides of the door, you can see. And on the inside, when you open the door, also there's some more. So usually it goes all the way around. It's just for moisture damage. This is a typical area that we find soft rotted wood at the house. Millicent, this is another area that I want to show you. At the bottom of this garage door, this is very typical. Carpenters like to run the wood all the way down to the concrete because it does look better. But we really need about a 1/2 to 3/4 inch space here to keep the water from wicking up into the wood here. This will keep the rot down. As we saw by the other door, we just leave a little space here, and that keeps the water from wicking up into the wood. This is a typical area here. This electrical cord, I've already been in the crawl space. This runs to a sump pump that's mounted permanently underneath the house. Anytime we have something like this, for safety issues, it should be hardwired, not just an extension cord, because this allows for someone to get hurt very badly or shocked, or especially kids. I really want to be very, very specific on safety items. This is a real bad safety item right here. Okay, Millicent, this is a safety hazard I'd like to show you. This is typical. What do you think is the problem with these steps here? There's a safety hazard here. What do you think that is?
Well, they're different sizes.
That's correct. Anytime we have steps, we want them to be the same. So we have about 10.5 inches there from that one. This one here is 8, which is correct. We have another 8 here. That's correct. So this is a trip hazard. When we come down the steps, we have a normality of when we make a step, we make the same size step all the time. So when Aunt Mabel comes to see me, she takes the steps down and she falls, breaks her hip. Everybody just had a bad Thanksgiving.
Oh no.
Got to leave that
we don't want Aunt Mabel hurt. No evil shall befall Aunt Mabel.
It needed actually another small step here to stretch it out. Millicent, I'd like to show you an issue that I found in the crawl space. We'll look in and I'll show you some insulation problems there. This is very typical in this area and in most areas where the insulation is falling down and loose. I'll just show you that and we'll just look at it and just explain that to you briefly, okay?
Okay. I always wondered what went on in a crawl space. Now we get to find out.
Yep, you'll see. Okay, we're going to look in the crawl space here and look for any problems we may normally find in the crawl space, Millicent. And this is a typical problem. If you look over here to our left, you see a lot of insulation hanging down. After about 2 or 3 years, it starts to sag. There are the wire clips that actually hold the insulation up in the crawl space. They start to fall, or sometimes animals get in there. We have a lot of raccoons in this area and squirrels and things like that, and they tend to get up there and tear the insulation down. We want to do everything we can to make the house very energy efficient. We also want to be real careful of loose wiring in the crawl space. This looks like cable TV wiring, but we don't want anything just loose laying around, because we always presume with wiring that it's always hot. In other words, it can shock you. So if somebody gets underneath there, they could get electrocuted. Okay, Millicent, this is some of the typical things that I've showed you, just walking around the outside, just showing you some steps and some rotted wood and things like that we usually find on the outside of the house.
Well, great, Donnie. Hosea 4:6 says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge," and you're bringing us that knowledge today. Let's go on the inside and get some more knowledge.
Okay, let's move to the garage.
Donnie, I think you found another issue to be concerned with regard to Aunt Mabel in the garage.
Yes, like again, Millicent, this is another safety issue. Anytime we have a stair rail or anything, or staircase that's over 30 inches in height, we should have a handrail. We need a handrail here. Aunt Mabel could be going up the stairs, fall over the side of the stairs, and everybody's had a bad day because of not having just a simple safety issue. And these are left out. This is a very common thing also. Okay, Miss Millicent, I want to show you an issue in the kitchen. Anytime we find loose wiring, as we see here, this is a safety issue. We always presume that loose wiring's hot. Someone can turn a breaker on or something. I'm going to test this with what's called a tick tester. And if this lights up, as it is now, this light has 110 volts going to it, 220. This is another safety issue that we have, and this is very typical. So this could kill someone.
Oh my.
Or someone didn't bother to turn the power off.
Sounds very dangerous.
It's very, very dangerous, Millicent. Okay, Millicent, I would like to show you an air conditioning filter problem. This is a typical thing that people do. People tend to put too many filters with your air conditioner. Your air conditioner is only designed to have a certain amount of filters, and people will stack one on top of another one. This particular house has one very good filter, and also they have another filter that doesn't need to be there.
Can you explain why people would stack filters?
Well, they just feel like that, well, the more filters is better. But what actually happens is the unit can't get as much air as it needs to get, so it can cool. So then what happens there, it starts to ice the unit up and make the unit work a lot harder than it has to work. It's kind of like us breathing.
Okay, so our message here is don't stack the air conditioning filters, right?
Correct.
This looks like we're at the air conditioning filter. Let's take a look at that, Donnie.
Okay, Millicent, as I was telling you, here we got filter number 1. That either we need the either or. Then also we have a very high quality filter here. So we're really just filtering this unit to death, and this making this unit have to work a lot harder. Therefore, like I said, we're getting back to the energy efficient. We're losing our energy efficient because we're putting too many filters in this system.
And bottom line, Donnie, that means money. That's going to cost the person who has this house more out of pocket.
Exactly right. Therefore, the unit's having to work a lot harder. Instead of it running 30 minutes, it's running 45 or 50 minutes.
Wow, big difference.
Good deal.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Okay, Millicent, this is a very typical issue we found in bathrooms, and this can cause a lot of problems down the road. And what is going on here, the toilet's loose at the floor. It should have been grouted around the bottom. And what's going on is you can see the toilet wiggling. Therefore, it starts leaking around the floor, and it rots the floor out or causes moisture damage around the floor, leaving areas for mold and mildew. Okay, Millicent, this is a typical thing we find in showers with shower enclosure doors. Usually the seal will be gone at the bottom of the bathroom doors, or the shower doors, and you feel across here, the rubber seal is gone. And therefore, this is letting water run out whenever you're in there taking a shower, and water's running out on the floor, and then you have a moisture problem, also opening up for mold and mildew problems.
This is interesting. It looks like there was some work down by the shower and the jacuzzi.
As I told you again, Millicent, from this seal being leaking around here, we had this water is running down here, running down and running on the floor and rotting out any wood that's close by. But to fix the problem, we need to put a new seal at the bottom of the shower door.
So what we're seeing is a Band-Aid to a larger problem. I've heard a lot about ground fault interrupters in homebuyer education. Can you address those in this room?
We sure can. We have a little simple tester, and in about 8 out of 10 homes that I inspect, I at least find one ground fault that's wrong. And what we have a little simple tester. We plug it in. We mash the little button. This is a 5 milliamp trip. If when I mash this button, if the lights go out, it means it tripped. Therefore, this one here is correct.
Looks like we have a smoke detector here, Donnie, that can help keep Aunt Mabel safe.
Well, this is something I check on a regular basis every house we go into, and usually you'll find one that's bad, or they take them down and put them in a drawer or something because they gave them a problem. And we always like to test them and change the batteries on a regular basis. Some people do it at Christmas time or at Thanksgiving, but we like to make sure that we keep safe with our smoke detectors. And the new code is around pretty well all over the nation, all hallways and bedrooms should have a smoke detector.
Sounds like that one works.
Correct. This is the typical attic. When I'm in the attic, I look for proper ventilation, insulation, electrical wires. A lot of times we find loose electrical connections and things like that. And here, right here at the doorway, there's a loose electrical connection where someone could easily stick their hand in and shock themselves. Again, this is another safety thing. A lot of home inspection problems that we go to relate back to safety. As you can see, as we've been going along, we say the word safety a lot. This is some of the typical things that we find in a home inspection. I just want to show you and show you in this area, this is what we do. And plus, and these are nationwide things that we find as a home inspector. Just give you a little demonstration of some of the safety issues. As you can see, a lot of the things that we find are safety. And that's one of the things that I really look at very hard when I do a home inspection. I don't want to read about one of my clients that got shocked by GFI or something a few weeks after I did the inspection, or read about a problem with a roof that I should have, corrected the problem, told them what the correction is. It's not always about the home inspection, it's sometimes about what future things we need to do with the house.
Well, thank you, Donnie. We want people to live long, blessed lives. We want them to enjoy their environments when they have a home. We want them to be happy, and we want them to be healthy and blessed. Thank you for sharing with us.
All right, you're very welcome, and thank you so much for y'all's time, and I really appreciate this. And like I said, maybe some of our viewers will pick up on some of these things and look at the things on their own house.
We expect that will happen, and we'll have more for you on Homefront. If you're not sure how God speaks to you, ask Him to teach you. All you have to do is open your heart and be willing to hear His voice. We're with Bill Gross, who's the owner of W.H. Gross Construction, here to talk to us today about the construction industry. Thanks for being with us today, Bill.
Thank you, Millicent.
The first thing I want to talk about is the 2004 HGTV home that you built. That's really exciting. Can you tell us about that?
Millicent, I'm going to tell you, it's kind of neat how God makes things happen and how you're blessed with experiences that help you in your life. And I would look back on it and definitely say that the experience of building the Home and Gardens TV home was one of those experiences. They chose both myself and one of my best friends, Terry Stover, to build the dream home, as it's called. And we had a great friendship and fun time doing it. But it was certainly a challenge because it was the first house in that subdivision, and had to be built with generators and water carried in by trailers, and so it was quite an experience. But and we got some very good business and some referrals from that, and to this date, people still want to see the HGTV house.
Can you tell us about how you stumbled into that and how you ended up being the one selected?
Well, the company that was developing the subdivision interviewed different builders, and they were on a short time frame. So they interviewed both Terry and I, and actually chose one of us. But because of our friendship, neither one of us wanted to hurt the other's feelings. So we decided that we would do it together or not do it at all, which is really the story behind the story. It's about true friendship and about how friends take care of one another.
And it shows how God can bless.
I've been very blessed, Millicent, to be the largest builder in our region. Been voted 11 out of the last 12 years to be the best builder in our region from customer surveys. And I've had work when other people have not had work. In these challenging economic times, it's, as you know, it's important to stay busy. And just thank the Lord we've been able to stay busy. We've built our foundation on doing what's right, treating people with respect, looking to God for wisdom, guidance, and just doing what's right.
Tell us about your story. How did you end up with a relationship with God?
Millicent, I grew up in a home where we were Christians. My parents probably did not live the ideal Christian life, but they helped me get a foundation. And they actually sent me to a Christian school in early elementary school, where I met my high school sweetheart and my wife. And it's a love story about how God really started taking care of me before I knew He was taking care of me. You know, Melissa, one of the things that I ask God for on a daily basis is wisdom. And wisdom is not trying to figure out the stock market, but trying to do what's right, displeasing to Him, and not trying to corner the market, but trying to be successful. And I think being successful, my definition of being successful is being self-sufficient, being able to have happiness in my life, being able to instruct my children to live godly lives, to teach them the values that are important for just living today. So success does not mean having a pocket full of money or having a checkbook full of wealth, but it means having things that money can't buy, and that's just joy and happiness in your soul.
Absolutely. The Bible says, get wisdom. Wisdom is your life.
That's right. Absolutely.
Bill, tell us about your passion for affordable housing.
Started getting a better understanding of affordable housing because not only is it the right thing to do to try to help folks, but it's a needed thing in our communities for
Absolutely.
a healthy environment. You know, affordable housing 30 miles away from where folks are going to be working is not affordable. They're going to spend more money on transportation than they will on being able to than they will on their housing. So that's one of the issues I think that's important, is to remember that location is important, the energy efficiency is important. The units that I've built have all been Energy Star or better, and I think building a good product that's safe, energy efficient, is definitely the right thing to do as far as trying to build homes for people, whether affordable or not.
Have you ever built a complex that is multi-use, that has shopping, commercials, and housing?
In fact, we just finished a project very similar to what you're speaking of. We created a roundabout, a neighborhood that had not only single-family homes, but apartments and small little out parcels nestled around the roundabout for a convenience store, a general store as we're calling it, a little community building that will resemble a church. And this next year we plan on having a seniors development adjoining that also.
There are opportunities available like down payment assistance for first-time home buyers. How important do you think it is for down payment assistance to be available to a first-time home buyer?
I think it's essential. Down payment assistance is so important. And, you know, Millicent, it's hard for everybody to save money. And especially in these economic times when banks are wanting more and more deposits or equity in homes. if we don't, if we do not, hang on just a minute. If we don't have mechanisms to help folks with down payment assistance, the truth is many folks just won't be able to purchase.
And the other part of the picture are credit scores. Can you talk about the importance of those?
Melissa, a lot of people don't realize how valuable credit is. And they really just don't concern themselves with it until they come to the realization of how important it is. So, many times it's not until people get home ownership into their mindset does the credit score really become important. Once they're explained the importance of having the good credit scoring, I think you would agree with me that most people are very diligent in trying to get their credit scores up.
And I'm definitely a proponent of good credit for all as well. Let's talk about the challenges that builders and developers are faced with in this economic climate.
Well, you've heard many people talk about the availability of credit, meaning cash, meaning loans. And banks are very, let's just say they're very tight on their pocketbooks today. Or maybe I should say that they're more conservative than they have been in years past. So one of the challenges we have is getting construction loans for people. Now, most builders, such as myself, we have lines of credit that we can access, but still the banks are being more conservative than they've ever been before. Mm-hmm. Some other constraints we have are environmental constraints, because seems like every few months we're getting more and more restrictions put on us. That's not bad, but to be more conscious of the environment. But change hurts sometimes. Not saying it's not bad, but we have to constantly mutate our business to make sure that we're doing the best job we can do for the environment, for the customer, and try to keep it economical.
So you kind of experience birth pangs when new things happen, right?
Well, Melissa, yes. I've been building since 1983. I remember when these things called cell phones came into play. I remember when the fax machine, I still used the thermal paper that rolled up on you. I remember when the PC computer was a new thing. So technology has changed so much in the last 20 years. We all have to be responsive and adaptive to change, both in technology and just in the process that things are done. So yes, we're very, I pride myself on trying to be adaptive to change.
Yeah, I think that's a part of wisdom too, on how God takes us from glory to glory.
Good point. I tell you, God equips us, and I think one way that when we ask for wisdom, one way He gives it to us, it gives us maybe a quest for knowledge. I love to read, and it doesn't really, sometimes it seems like it's not on any particular topic, but it's good information that can be used at a later date. It kind of helps shape your whole mindset and your whole attitude toward life and toward helping others and doing what's right.
I understand you've built some great church facilities in your life. Can you tell us about some of those projects?
I'm a true believer that everyone has a gift. Some are to be teachers, some are to be preachers, some are to be just general contractors. And I truly feel like that's the gift that God's given me. In the past 25 years, I've built in excess of 20, 25 churches or church projects. Typically try to do at least one a year, and we do them very, very economically. We really try to take the church budget and stretch it as far as we can with meeting their building needs. I've got an architect that's a great friend, that's a fellow Christian brother. He participates at a discounted rate. I'm participating at a heavily discounted rate. And I've got a lot of workers that participate at discounted rates. So we're really able to take that budget that a church may have and deliver a great product for them.
It sounds like an opportunity to sow seed.
Sometimes, whenever we go to sow seeds or we go to bless someone or a church, I think we're the ones that really end up getting blessed. Just helping people. And if each one of us as Christians could have the mindset of how can we help our brother and sister, no matter what socioeconomic climate they come from, no matter what skin color they are, but look at them as a child of God and a potential child of God, then my goodness, wouldn't this be a better place to live?
Absolutely. What kind of legacy do you want to leave?
To leave a legacy for my children, to where they've got a good foundation, to where they can be proud of their name. I think that would be a great legacy to leave behind, and to leave this place a better place than I found it.
Thank you very much. Very insightful.
Thank you, Millicent.
That's Bill Gross, who's the owner of W.H. Gross Construction. Homefront is about you. It's about helping you make great decisions in a very complex financial world. Continue to watch us and we'll continue to bring you more education with regard to home ownership, home retention, decisions that you have to make about appraisers, investors, finances. We want to help you be all that God has you to be. We want to see you have all things that pertain to life and godliness. I'm Millicent Harwell, and I'll see you again soon.